Okay, part two. So, I discovered this probably about 10 years ago. Having become proficient at meditating, let's say I've been meditating for 2 years, instead of just sitting in the nothingness, to have that respite, I thought to myself, well, at this time I was doing like 5 hours of meditation a day. I'd walk around the little town I was living in. I was living in Bulgaria, and they've got these fountains around the town, city, and I'd sit right next to the fountain and just like immerse myself in the crashing of the water, which was absolutely beautiful. And so it was, you know, next to a main road, but as soon as you sat down on the side of this fountain, because of the enormity of it, it was all crashing down, and it was like sitting next or under a waterfall. And so that was beautiful for meditation, because that everything just went away and you just got lost in that. Then I'd do it whereby I'd sit at a cafe and I would listen to people, you know, walking about, picking the cup up, putting it down, stirring the cup, tap, 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 and then they'd be speaking in Bulgarian, and I'd be hearing a few words, and then I'd notice the cars going by, and I would be imagining, guessing which one it was, and all these sort of things. And so then I thought to myself, well, look, that's a very interesting way of meditating. Normally when we meditate, we just close our eyes and try to eliminate our thoughts. And we go into the respite of the nothingness. And it's all well and good, but it's... if you meditate a lot, it's nice to have a change. That's what I'm going to say here. So what I would start to do then, I would sit at a cafe, and I would take my coffee and I'd drink my coffee, and then I would just look around me, and it's all hustling and bustling, and I would just close my eyes, and I'd be there like for 20 minutes, and I would see if I could imagine what exactly was going on. And when people would come down and they'd move the chairs around, and then they'd put the cups down, and then they're like, you know, do a lighter, and you know, I could hear all this stuff going on. I'll imagine what sort of people they were, how old, and you know, all these sort of things. And then, you know, I'd hear cars and trucks going by, and I'd say, I think that's a bus, and that's a van, and this is that, and this is that, and I could hear the buffering of the wind and the rubber on the tarmac, and you know, a motorbike. What sort of a motorbike? What cc engine was that? Was it a 125 or was it a 250? Was it a Yamaha or was it a Honda? Was it 2-stroke or was it 4-stroke? And all these things, and so your senses tune in. And the reason why this is really important, which I'm going to come to in a minute, then I would walk in the forest and on the beach and everything, and I would just observe, and I'll just be looking, and I'm not labelling anything. There's no internal dialogue. I'm just looking, and I'm noticing, you know, the little flickers and the little shimmers and the little ripples and all this sort of thing. I'm completely immersed in the visual sense. Then on another occasion, I would walk on the beach and I'd feel the sun, I'd feel the breeze, I'd feel the wind, I'd feel the coolness of the water lapping up at my bare feet when I'm walking on the water's edge. I feel the coldness of the sand, and every time my foot went into the sand, depending on how near I was to the shore, it would become softer and then harder, and I could walk up and down here, and I could gauge that my feet are sinking half an inch into the water as I'm further away from the water's edge, and then, you know, very, very little, you know, when the water's very compact. And then you can walk onto sand which is being crusted when it's fluffy sand, but right at the height of the tide, when the last wave has crashed on, and it's kind of like very lightly covered the top part of the fluffy dry sand, and then it's left a dry crust. Very quickly that wet sand on top dries into a crust, and when you tread on that it's all crunchy, your feet go straight in it, and it's all beautiful. So these sort of things that I have done over the years. And what I used to do is, with my friends, I used to walk, say like on the concrete or on the boardwalk, and then I would suggest that we go over and walk on the sand at the water's edge, and we'd take our shoes off and then we'd step into the sand, and then I would say to him, so where's your consciousness? And he'd go, what do you mean? I say, where is the focal point of your consciousness? And he'd go, well, I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking about that. What are you feeling? Not really feeling anything. What about your feet? What are they feeling? Oh, I can feel the sand. That's what I'm getting at. Because my state of consciousness is very finely tuned and very acute, and as soon as I step off the concrete onto the land, whether it's grass or soil or sand, I enter into a different state of consciousness instantly. It's absolutely a remarkable transition. You walk barefoot on different things, and then you've got this transition. But even if you are walking on tarmac and then you walk on grass in your shoes, there's a difference of the terrain you're walking on. It changes the reconfiguration or the configuration of your consciousness. And so I would point out, where's your consciousness? And this is Patrick, by the way. And I'll say, well, look, what happens to my consciousness as soon as I step onto the sand? My consciousness goes, wow, that is a major sensory experience, and I'm feeling the temperature of the sand, I'm feeling the texture. Is it coarse or is it fine? Is it very fluffy or is it kind of compact? Has the ocean washed over it and made it flat, or is it got a million footprints in it? And does it squeak because it's hot when you're walking on? There's a billion things that are going on, and until you point this out to people, then they won't notice this stuff, because the internal dialogue is overpowering the rest of it. But what I'm saying here is, now I've spoken to you about a few of these things, and you can do it walking around smelling. When I was doing my 7-day water fast, I was only drinking water, not eating anything at all. What happened is all of my senses became very, very heightened. And then when I would walk around the city, and in the little bit of a woodland area, the parks and everything, I would smell everything. I'll smell this tree, I'll smell that bush. 100 yards away, I could smell the water drifting through the air coming from the fountain. I can smell water, I can smell the moisture, and that's a long way off. And then you can smell, I can smell a certain bush, and you get very animalistic, and then it's go, oh, it's this bush here, I never noticed that before. And you can smell the blossoms blowing from certain trees and all different sorts of things. So when we look at the olfaction, when we look at the audio, when we look at the vision, when we look at the kinesthetic, I would go around and I'll be touching everything. I'll be touching the stone, the brickwork, the trees, the leaves, feeling the water, feeling the coolness of it or the warmness of it, just feeling everything. And then feeling my body. When I'm walking, I'm concentrating. What do my calves feel like? What do my feet feel like? Are they achy? Or are they feeling strong? Are they tired? What's the rest of your body feeling like? Oh, you're feeling a little bit hungry? Oh, do you want to go to the toilet? Yeah, I need to go to the toilet a little bit, but not just yet. And so feeling, all this sort of stuff. What about the temperature? What about the wind? And so all these things. And so what we can do is, if we have an internal dialogue which we find annoying, boring, and just never ending, then we can send our consciousness to one of our other senses. Now, we can do it when we are in the house even. For instance, if I want to be kinesthetic now, I'm feeling what my body feels like sitting in this chair. I'm feeling my toes pressed against the carpet. I'm feeling the texture of the carpet. I'm feeling then the pressure of the seat underneath my legs and my backside. And then I'm feeling my back, and I'm feeling the texture of my shirt on the back, and I'm feeling my shirt on my shoulders. And then I'm feeling just a little bit of difference of the temperature on my bare legs, because I've got my shorts on as usual. And so feeling all these things, and then feeling feeling that my throat's a bit dry, because it's about time I had another drink, I'm getting a little bit hungry, and so when you concentrate on these things, and then if I decide, okay, when I've done this video, I'm going to go into the kitchen, as I get up I feel the whole body, as I get up, as I walk, every movement and every minute detail of how the body is moving, I'm thinking about this, I'm honed in on it. And then when I reach for the fridge door and I pull it open and I feel the tension, then when I pick something out, I feel the chilliness of it and the weight of it, and then I put it down, and then I flick the switch on the kettle, or I pick up the kettle and I go to put the water in it, and I don't even need to look at how much is there. I can know by how heavy it is whether that's enough to make 1 cup of coffee or something. And so you can, everything you do, you can feel. Then you can switch over to the audio. You can listen to how the fridge opens, and when you pull the magnetic door, open, and you've got that sound, and then as you pull the door, you've got the chinkle of the bottles, which if you've got bottles on glass bottles or jars or something, then they'll rattle a little bit, and then you turn on the tap and you do some washing up, and you listen to all the chinking and everything. So you get the picture by now. If you hone into these things, then you'll be very, very acutely aware of all of that stuff, and the thoughts won't be apparent anymore. And you may find yourself all of a sudden start thinking again. Well, I mean, you just put your focus back, put your focus back, put your focus into these, put your focus into your toes, put your focus into your skeleton, put your focus into the muscularity, put the focus into the outer skin of the temperature and all this. Just keep focusing it back there, back. And it's like when we start to meditate, all of a sudden thoughts come. Let them go, let them go, let them go. Let the thoughts go. Don't follow any lead. Don't follow any thoughts. When a thought comes in, oh, what about that girl you saw? Oh, let it go. Oh, what about your sister? Oh, let it go. What about your boss? Oh, whatever. And then this is why when we meditate, we are, in the early stages, we use mantras, because we focus then on the mantras. We don't focus on all these obtrusive thoughts. We focus on the mantras. Or another one is, you focus on the breathing. And so the whole idea is that you close your whole mind down to a very narrow parameter of consciousness and focus, and anything else that's going on all around here, cars going by, horns papping, phones ringing, all this sort of stuff, you're just concentrating. And that way you get yourself into a trance. It's a hypnotic trance, and that's the art of meditation. And once you've hypnotized yourself, then you find yourself you've just gone into the nothingness. You don't need to focus on that anymore. You've used it, it's got you to where you want to be, and you see, look at the face. That's it. Absolutely relaxed. And so when we then use these other tools, just keep bringing it back, bringing it back, bringing it back, your focal point. Whether it's the vision or the olfaction or whatever, you just keep bringing it back. So try those, and you'll find that you'll very quickly start to emancipate yourself from your intrusive thoughts. Now, one of the people that I'm speaking to in recent times has this kind of like O.C.D, intrusive thoughts and O.C.D and anxiety and things like that. And so I say, well, try these methods. Instead of always thinking, have I turned the plugs off, or have I turned the taps off, 50 times, think about how your feet feel on the floor. and how your body is, and you know how your hair feels on your neck, and all these different sorts of things. And by the time, if you are working towards going out, what normally you would do if you're OCD, you'd be checking. Well, you want to eliminate that, and so therefore then 5 or 10 minutes before you go out, all of a sudden just go into the auditory facet of yourself and listen, concentrate on everything that's going on. And as you open and close the doors, you flush the toilet and this, that and the other, you've got all these things going on, and that is taking your mind away from your intrusive thoughts about checking. And so then you just go towards the door, you put your key in your door, you lock it as you leave, and this, that and the other, and then you walk out, you walk downstairs, or whatever you do, and you'll find then that those intrusive thoughts, you've left them behind. And then, you know, if you get in your car or you're out walking, whatever you're doing, you go, oh, those things I never checked. Continue then to listen, feel, look, and then again, they've gone. And so it's a case of elimination, because the mind, it has lots of default settings, and the default settings come about over years of us allowing things to happen, and mostly we've allowed things to, hello, hey, come here, come on then, come on, somebody wants to see you, somebody wants to see you, yeah, what are you doing then? Going, hey? Yeah. So he's taken now to spending a lot of time under the sofa, because the sofa has a tear in the bottom, so he likes to go in there. And I'm kind of happy that he's gone in there, because I'm pretty sure that's where he's doing his toilet now, because most of the time I can't find any around. So he's found himself a toilet. And at least it's in one place, and so that's a good thing. But there are occasions, I'm starting to know when he needs to go to the toilet, because if I feed him and then I put him on top of my head, well, you know, I'm going to be expecting to have at least little poos rolling down. You know, if my hair's up, they'll roll off, but if they're not, then... So I noticed a little pile of them rolling down my shoulders yesterday, and so it's kind of like, well, as soon as he's eaten, then, you know, I need to put him in his cage when I've got a cage. And that's when he's going to need to go to the toilet straight away. Anyway, back to what I'm saying about the intrusive thoughts. Try those things. And, you know, let me know how you go with them. They are very effective, and I can say that I've used them not necessarily to rid myself of intrusive thoughts, because it's not often I have them, but it's more to increase the powers of my awareness, my environment. You turn everything else off, so it's not a mass of information, and you just listen. You walk for half an hour and you just listen. And that's when you tune in to the smallest of details. You hear all the animals and all the different stuff going on. And then you do it with the other things. Oh, wow. He's beautiful. He's beautiful, eh? So, I think now... I fed him about a couple of hours ago, and he didn't eat that much. And I think now he's a little bit frisky, and he could do round 2. Yeah, you want 11s? Hey, want 11s? Alright then. Okay, say goodbye. Let me see if I can pick him up a little bit. Come here. There we go. Come on. Oh. Let go of that one. Now then, your belly's not as full as it should be. It's not. And so I know you're a hungry boy, so let's go, huh?